In the world of Apple, some products grab all the headlines. The iPhone, the MacBook, the iPad, these are the devices that dominate the conversation. But sitting quietly in the corner, often overlooked, is a little black box that has slowly but surely earned its place in millions of living rooms. That device is the Apple TV. For years, it has been easy to forget about. It doesn't carry the same flash as a new iPhone reveal. It doesn't get the same press as Apple's flagship laptops. Yet, for many people, the Apple TV has become one of the most important pieces of technology in their homes. What started as a simple streaming device has grown into something much bigger. In its early days, Apple TV was just a way to watch shows and movies. But as time went on, Apple began weaving it deeper into its ecosystem. Slowly, the Apple TV transformed into a hub for not only entertainment, but also fitness, music, gaming, and even smart home control. This little device has become a quiet but powerful part of Apple's vision for the future of the home. Now, after years of only minor updates, 2025 is shaping up to be the year where the Apple TV finally takes a massive leap forward. Apple hasn't given the hardware a major refresh in 3 years. For technology, that's a long time. In that span, competitors like Amazon, Roku, and Nvidia have pushed ahead with new models, faster chips, and features designed to lure in more customers. Meanwhile, the Apple TV 4K has been running on the same A15 Bionic chip that powered the iPhone 13 back in 2021. At the time, it was impressive. But in 2025, it's starting to feel dated. And that's why all eyes are now on the upcoming Apple TV 4K 2025 model. If the leaks and reports are accurate, this will not be a small refresh. This could be the boldest update Apple has ever given the Apple TV. From the chip inside, to the design of the box, to the software that powers it, everything points to a major upgrade. Let's start with performance, because that is where the biggest leap is expected. Right now, the Apple TV 4K uses the A15 Bionic chip. Back in 2021, it was a powerhouse. It handled apps and games with ease, it ran tvOS smoothly, and it outpaced most other streaming devices on the market. But fast forward to 2025, and the story has changed. The A15 still works fine, but when compared to the competition, it shows its age. Amazon's Fire TV Cube has become faster and smarter. Roku's high-end devices are pushing speed and efficiency. And Nvidia's Shield TV Pro remains a favorite among enthusiasts, especially for gaming and AI upscaling. In this landscape, the Apple TV feels like it's playing catch-up. And that doesn't align with Apple's positioning of the device. Apple doesn't just market the Apple TV as a way to stream Netflix. They market it as a premium hub for Apple Arcade gaming, Apple Fitness Plus, Apple Music, and smart home control. For those experiences, raw performance matters. This is why the new Apple TV is expected to make the jump to the A17 Pro chip. This is the same chip that powers the iPhone 15 Pro and the refreshed iPad mini. Built on Apple's second-generation 3nm process, the A17 Pro is not only faster but also more efficient. That's a perfect combination for a small box that needs to stay cool and quiet while delivering high performance. Some insiders believe Apple may even tweak the chip slightly, perhaps removing a GPU core to differentiate it from the iPhone version, much like Apple has done with iPad models in the past. Even so, the leap from A15 to A17 Pro is massive. It's not a small step forward, it's a generational leap. Apps will launch faster. Games will run smoother. Multitasking will feel effortless. And all of it will happen while consuming less power and producing less heat. This kind of power also opens up new doors, especially in the area of gaming. Gaming has been an interesting journey for Apple. For years, people wondered if Apple would ever make a console. They never did. But quietly, through Apple Arcade and advancements in their graphics technology, Apple has been moving closer to making gaming a bigger part of their ecosystem. The Apple TV has always had the potential to be a secondary gaming console, but the hardware held it back. That could change with the A17 Pro. The chip supports advanced graphics features, including ray tracing, which brings more realistic lighting and reflections into games. On the iPhone, this already looks stunning. Imagine those same capabilities on a large 4K television through the Apple TV. Suddenly, you're looking at visuals that could rival or even surpass what the Nintendo Switch 2 is offering. Nintendo uses NVIDIA's DLSS technology on an ARM-based chip. Apple has its own answer through its Metal Graphics APIs, which are deeply optimized for Apple Silicon. With the A17 Pro, the Apple TV might finally step into the role Apple hinted at years ago, a device that can handle serious gaming in the living room. Picture playing titles like Resident Evil Village or Assassin's Creed Mirage directly on your Apple TV. No console. No PC. Just the Apple TV connected to your screen. Pair it with a controller, and you're set. And it's not just about running games locally. Apple has also been exploring game streaming. With services like Xbox Game Pass and NVIDIA GeForce now proving the model, Apple could integrate cloud gaming more deeply into the Apple TV. Combine local power with streaming options, and suddenly the Apple TV becomes one of the most versatile gaming devices you can buy. But performance is only half of the story. The software that powers the Apple TV is just as important. That's where tvOS 26 comes in. Apple revealed the new version at WWDC 2025, and it's bringing one of the biggest visual overhauls in years. The entire interface now uses a liquid glass effect, giving everything a futuristic and dynamic look. It matches the translucent style Apple has been rolling out across macOS, iOS, and iPadOS. For years, tvOS only received small tweaks. A new feature here, a small redesign there. But this is different. This feels like a major step forward, one that makes the Apple TV feel fresh and modern again. And it's not just about looks. tvOS 26 also makes the Apple TV more connected to the rest of your Apple devices. With tighter integration, your iPhone, Apple Watch, and HomePod all work more seamlessly with the Apple TV. You can now use your Apple Watch as more than just a remote, it becomes a fitness dashboard when you're working out with Apple Fitness Plus. You can start a FaceTime call on your iPhone and then transfer it to your TV through the Apple TV, turning your living room into a group call hub. These features make the Apple TV feel less like an isolated box and more like a central piece of your digital life. And then there's the hardware design. For years, the Apple TV has looked the same, a small black plastic box. It was minimal, it was discreet, but it also felt a little outdated. In 2025, Apple is expected to change that. The new model may finally ditch plastic in favor of a premium aluminum or stainless steel body. This would align the Apple TV with the design language of Apple's other products like the MacBook, iPad, and iPhone. It would make the box more durable, more stylish, and more in line with Apple's push toward sustainability. Apple has been vocal about moving away from plastics and embracing recyclable materials. Updating the Apple TV's design to fit that vision makes perfect sense. There are even whispers that Apple may include a tiny internal cooling fan for the first time. This would ensure the A17 Pro can perform at its best during long gaming sessions or extended 4K HDR streaming. It's a small change, but it could make a big difference in maintaining consistent performance. Connectivity is another area where Apple is expected to make big strides. The current Apple TV supports Wi-Fi 6, but in 2025, Wi-Fi 6E or even Wi-Fi 7 is on the table. That means faster speeds, lower latency, and more reliable connections for streaming 4K and even 8K content. As the Apple TV positions itself as the central hub for smart homes, that kind of stable connection becomes essential. Bluetooth is also getting better. Upgrades to Bluetooth 5.4 or 6.0 would improve wireless connections with headphones and controllers. Imagine using AirPods Pro or AirPods Max with the Apple TV and experiencing near-zero audio delay. That's a big win for both movies and games. And on the wired side, an HDMI 2.1a port is expected, unlocking features like variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, and 4K at 120 Hz. Gamers have been asking for this for years, and it looks like Apple may finally deliver. So when you add all of this up, the A17 Pro chip, tvOS 26 with its futuristic design, deeper ecosystem integration, premium materials, better cooling, faster connectivity, you start to see why people are calling the Apple TV 4K 2025 the biggest update in years. Apple is no longer treating it like a side project. They are positioning it as an essential centerpiece of the living room. That's the first half of the story. In the second half, we'll go deeper into the competition, the smart home capabilities, pricing, and the bigger question, will people upgrade?